My current practice is wholly research-based and is placed within the context of my research question, to examine how the percipient can be engaged in the artist's experience using digital and hybrid media techniques. As an artist researcher, I don't purport to speak for all artists, rather to provide a practice model through practice-led research, which may then be referenced by others. Through this process, I hope to make my contribution to knowledge. During the course of my current research, I adopted a definition of digital art which would provide the cornerstone of my practice in both contextual and practical terms. I originally accessed the following definition provided by Austin Museum of Digital Art through my early research. A mada defines digital art as art that uses digital technology in any of three ways: as the product, as the process, or as the subject. I believe that this definition provides the most suitable definition for my practice. Further evidence in support of this is found in Museums and New Media Art, a research report commissioned by the Rockefeller Foundation, written by Susan Morris, who states, "Digital art. This term can either be all-encompassing to include all the arts that use digital means, or can refer to physical manifestations such as prints and photographs, rendered digitally, and flat-screen art." After consideration of this observation, I personally adopt the former part of the statement, which, combined with the mada definition, provides a robust definition to form the foundation of my practice model. In examining the context of an individual's practice, it's important to understand the origins of the practitioner's work. Christian Boltanski identifies that ancestors. It's very important for an artist to come from somewhere, to have a history, a village, but this history must tend towards the universal. We necessarily have ancestors. There are no spontaneous generations. We're all inside a line, a history of art, a history of the world. There is no break. Within this context, therefore, I place my practice and myself in the realm of transferred image and the multiple. If ancestors are those who came before, without whom one's practice could not exist, then my ancestors are to be found in post-Dadaism and Fluxus, through to Boltanski, Beuys, Rauschenberg, Warhol and Cardiff. It is therefore that I have developed my digital practice from traditional methods of painting and printmaking and the multiple, through contextual research. My current practice now revolves around the externalization of constructs formed through walking and mapping, using the concept of manipulating the real and shifting between past and present, memory and reality, which has provided an avenue of development for me. In an embryonic way, I stumbled into these ideas through my experiment Garden 2A. I hope to perhaps develop these works, concepts, that they may also in some way form sensory engagements that reference concepts of artistic journalism combined with poetic structures. In examining the context of my practice, the walking element has not been a conscious decision or adoption. Rather, it has always formed an element of the way in which I work. However, through research, examination of the breadth of practice in walking art has been significant to the development of my current practice. As identified by Krzysztof Bakareyev, walking according to chance patterns in the urban environment was a strategy adopted by the situationists in their psychogeographic dérivés during the late 1950s and 60s. More recently, in the 1990s, Francis Alice has also developed urban walks, representing an attitude towards the poetry of daily experience. And walking in nature has been at the basis of practices of Richard Long and Hamish Fulton since the late 1960s. A further ancestor is found in Musique Concrète and its descendants, including the BBC Radiophonic Workshop and latterly Brian Eno, who transcends the boundaries of sonic and visual art. A substantial influencing factor on my practice is dyslexia. As a dyslexic, I am a non-linear thinker, and as such my interest in non-linear structures, or non-linearity, has been heightened. As Christian Paul observes, postmodern and post-structuralist theory would argue that textuality is by nature open-ended, and the reading process is never sequential. Readers do not progress from word to word, line to line, page to page until they have finished the text. All in all, my practice has developed significantly as a result of my research and contextualization activities. Since the inception of these activities, I have been encouraged to critically reflect upon my practice within the context of contemporary art. This process has proved to be the catalyst for a shift in my practice from one which was predominantly responsive to the physical environment to one where I am at the nucleus of an emergent, personal, artistic construct founded upon mixing and remixing, which is generative rather than merely responsive. We can see in a work such as Forest, made in early 2006, prior to the commencement of this research, that this is purely response-based, the significance lying possibly more in the procedural responses to the stimulus rather than any intellectual construct. As recorded in my research blog, and additionally supported by my web-based portfolio, through the process of contextual examination and research experiments, my practice has evolved to a position where the artwork is conceptually generated through mix and remix activities. This is illustrated from a work such as drawing, a single channel projection and video podcast. In conclusion then, based upon drawing, using the concept of drawing with the video camera, I propose that my final work will be based upon one walk in a selected environment. The outputs will be a video installation, detailed or detailed clips for small screen, a podcast edit, an interactive piece which provides the percipient the opportunity of engagement, a Creative Commons remix repository which will provide percipients the opportunity of taking the work, remixing and re-editing to form their own constructs, a physical output, perhaps an artist's book or folio with audio work, and a documentary podcast or 3G piece providing the expanded context of the project.